In the middle of an African town stood a big hotel anyone had ever seen. It sparkled like a diamond under the sun, its walls as white as fresh milk, and its roof as red as a ripe tomato. This hotel belonged to Adam, the richest man in the town. Everyone admired him. Ah, Adam is a good man, the people would say. He pays his workers so much money. If only all bosses were like him. But Adam was no ordinary man, and his kindness was no accident. He had a secret, one darker than the shadows under his hotel at night. This secret was locked away behind his smile and hidden in the rule he made for his workers. You can clean the rooms, sweep the floors, wash the dishes, but never, ever touch the toilets. The workers didn't dare to disobey. Adam made them swear an oath, one so heavy that their hearts shivered whenever they remembered it. They couldn't break the promise, or something terrible would happen to them. Every morning, the hotel would buzz with guests laughing and chatting. Every evening, the workers cleaned the rooms and left the toilets alone, just as Adam ordered. And when the guests checked out, Adam would quietly lock himself in the bathrooms, one by one. Inside the bathroom, Adam's real power revealed itself. From a small black clay pot, he pulled out a strange red handkerchief, as red as fresh blood. It wasn't just a cloth, it was magic. Adam would take the handkerchief and gently wipe the toilet seat where the guest had sat. As he wiped, something invisible left the seat and soaked into the cloth. It wasn't dirt he was cleaning. No, it was something more, something powerful. With each wipe, he stole the joy, the luck, the success, and the grace of the guests who stayed in his hotel. All their goodness flowed into his handkerchief like water into a jar. And this was Adam's secret. His hotel didn't shine because of hard work or luck. It shined because of the fortunes he stole. The guests left feeling heavy, unlucky, and confused, while Adam grew richer and richer every day. No one knew. Not his workers, not the guests, not even the birds that perched on the roof of his hotel and sang in the mornings. Adam carried his secret like a snake, hiding under leaves, and no one could see the danger lying beneath the surface. But secrets, no matter how well hidden, don't stay buried forever. One morning, a young maid named Bissy joined the workers at Adam's grand hotel. Her eyes were as bright as the morning sun, and she had a spirit as curious as a cat sniffing around a new home. She swept, dusted, and cleaned with energy, her hands moving quickly like a bird, picking grains. But her mind was full of questions. Why can't we clean the toilets? Bissy whispered to another worker one afternoon. The older maid shook her head quickly. Don't ask questions you don't want answers to, she warned, her voice low. Just do your job. But Bissy couldn't help it. Her curiosity buzzed like a mosquito in her ear. What was Adam hiding? She wanted to know. One day, after the guests had left and the workers were busy cleaning, Bissy found herself near one of the toilets. Adam always insisted on cleaning himself. The door was slightly open, and her heart began to beat like a talking drum. She peered inside. There he was, Adam, standing with the red handkerchief in his hand. The sight froze her in place. The cloth glowed faintly, and Adam moved it across the toilet seat slowly, like a farmer gathering ripe fruits. He didn't see her, but she saw everything. Her breath caught in her throat. She understood now. This wasn't just cleaning. This was something dark, something evil. I have to tell someone, she thought, her feet already moving to run. Bissy panicked. She dropped her cleaning supplies and turned to run. But the floor was slippery from the morning's cleaning. Her foot slid, and before anyone could help, her head hit the hard tiles with a loud crack. She lay there, motionless. Her eyes were wide open, staring into nothingness. Bissy was gone. Adam stood over her body, his breathing heavy. His mind raced as he realized what had happened. He knew he couldn't let the truth come out. Not about the handkerchief, not about the ritual, not about anything. Quickly, Adam carried BC's lifeless body down to the basement where no one would find her. He cleaned up the scene, making sure there wasn't a single trace of what had happened. When he was done, he summoned the rest of the workers. "You all know the rules," he said, his voice low and cold. BZ made a mistake and she paid the price. If anyone else breaks the rules, they will face the same fate. The workers nodded silently, their faces pale with fear. The deadly oath they had sworn bound their tongues, and even if they wanted to speak, the weight of Adam's power held them back. From that day, the air in the hotel changed. Fear lingered in every corner like a dark cloud. The workers moved like shadows, obeying every word Adam said without question. No one spoke of BC again, but her absence was felt like an empty chair at a family table. And so, the hotel carried on, its grand walls hiding not just one secret, but now a dark, silent ghost. While Adam's life was great, and his business going good, he had one problem: his son. Adam had one son, Junior, and he was the complete opposite of his father. Where Adam was quiet and calculated, Junior was loud and careless. He loved showing off. His clothes were flashy, his cars shone like new coins, and he threw wild parties that lasted until the moon gave way to the sun. Junior believed life was a game and he was the king. "I'm Adam's son," he often said, puffing his chest like a proud rooster. "What can go wrong for me?" His confidence was as thick as the forest, but it was as shallow as a puddle after a light rain. Adam, knowing the power of his secret, often warned Junior, "Never go near the black pot or the red handkerchief," he said, his voice firm like a tree standing against the wind. "They are not for you. If you touch them, the world you see now will crumble before your eyes." But Junior only laughed. "What's the big deal, Papa?" he would say, waving his hand like swatting a fly. "I'm your son. Nothing can happen to me." Adam's warnings fell on deaf ears. Junior didn't care about rules. He spent his days spending money like the ocean pours out waves, and his nights were filled with laughter and wild dancing. He believed he was untouchable, the prince of the town, shielded by his father's wealth. What Junior didn't know was that the charm had a rule as strict as a locked gate. No blood relative of Adam could touch the black pot or the red handkerchief. If they did, all the power that kept Adam's world together would unravel like an old basket, and everything he had built would come crashing down. But Junior didn't care about rules or warnings. He was like a goat eating from a pot it didn't understand, unaware that trouble was just around the corner. And trouble, like a patient hunter, was waiting for the right moment to strike. One Christmas, the hotel was packed tighter than a box of sardines. Families laughed, children played, and the air smelled of roasted meat and sweet drinks. But Junior, as always, wanted more attention. He threw a party so loud that it shook the walls of the Grand Hotel. Music blasted like thunder, and laughter spilled out into the streets. The guests joined in, cheering and dancing, while Junior drank until his steps wobbled like a baby goat learning to walk. "Junior, stop this madness!" Adam shouted when he heard the noise, but Junior only laughed. "Relax, Dad. It's Christmas," he slurred, waving a bottle in the air. Adam's heart tightened. He knew Junior's carelessness was a storm waiting to happen. The red handkerchief was no toy, and his son's arrogance was leading him too close to danger. But Junior didn't care. He believed he could do whatever he wanted, And that night, his actions would push the family's secret closer to disaster. As the night grew deeper, Junior began to feel dizzy. His head spun and his feet wobbled like a newborn calf. "I need some air," he muttered to himself, stumbling out of the noisy hall. He wandered aimlessly until he found himself near the toilets. Sweat dripped down his face like raindrops, and he pushed the door open. Inside, the air was quiet, the sound of the party muffled by the thick walls. Junior leaned against the sink, panting. That's when he saw it, the red handkerchief hanging neatly near the sink, like an ordinary piece of cloth. Without thinking, Junior grabbed it. "Let me wipe my face," he mumbled, his voice slurred. He pressed the handkerchief to his skin, and in that moment, everything changed. A strange chill ran through his body, sharp like icy water pouring over hot coal. His heart raced, his knees buckled, and his vision blurred. The handkerchief fell to the floor, lifeless. The charm was broken. The hotel, once shining like a star, began to change. The air grew heavy with a foul stench, like rotting food left in the sun. The walls, which always gleamed, seemed to darken, and the floors trembled underfoot. Guests started coughing and covering their noses. "What's that smell?" someone shouted. "Is there something dead in here?" The workers, confused and terrified, felt the ground shake beneath them. Plates rattled, glasses fell, and the once lively party turned into chaos. Adam, sitting in his office, heard the commotion. His heart sank like a stone in deep water. "No," he whispered, standing up quickly. He ran to the toilets, his feet moving faster than they ever had before. When he reached the door, he found Junior slumped on the floor, pale and shaking. The red handkerchief lay crumpled at his side, dull and powerless. Adam's worst fear had come true. "It's too late," Adam muttered, his voice trembling. He looked around as the stench grew stronger, and the walls seemed to groan under an invisible weight. The power he had built his empire on was gone, and the grace he had stolen began to return to its rightful owners. The Grand Hotel, that had once stood like a palace, was now crumbling from the inside, and there was nothing Adam could do to stop it. The foul smell spread from the hotel like smoke from a burning house. It crawled into the streets, into the shops, and into the homes nearby. People covered their noses, their faces twisting in disgust. What's that terrible smell?" one woman asked her neighbor. "It's coming from Adam's hotel," the man replied, sniffing the air. "Something's not right there." Whispers filled the town like the rustle of dry leaves. Adam's Grand Hotel, once the pride of the town, was now the center of their suspicions. The townspeople, who had always praised Adam, began to wonder, could he be hiding something? What if his riches aren't as clean as they seem? The rumors grew louder, and soon someone called the police. The officers arrived quickly, their uniforms sharp and their faces serious. They stepped into the hotel, their boots crunching on the cracked floors. Adam met them at the entrance, his hands trembling. "Officers, this must be some misunderstanding," he said, his voice shaking like a leaf in the wind. But the police weren't listening. The smell was too strong, too foul. It wrapped around them like a warning. They began their search, checking every room, every corner. Adam followed them, sweat pouring down his face. As they reached the basement, one officer paused. There was a locked door, hidden behind a stack of old chairs. The officer's eyes narrowed. "What's in there?" Adam's heart raced. "Oh, that's just storage," he said quickly. "Nothing important." But the officer wasn't convinced. He ordered his team to break the lock. With a loud crack, the door swung open, and the officer stepped inside. The room was dark, but the smell was unbearable. One officer turned on his flashlight, and the beam landed on something that made them freeze. Piles of bodies, lifeless, cold, and drained of life. Their faces were pale, their eyes empty, as if all their joy and grace had been stolen. The officers stepped back, their breaths caught in their throats. The room reeked of death, a heavy stench that clung to their clothes and skin. This is horrifying, one officer whispered. The townspeople, hearing the commotion, gathered outside the hotel. The police carried the grim news to them, and gasps filled the air like a wave crashing against rocks. Adam did this, someone cried. All those people gone because of him, another said, her voice breaking. The truth was out. Adam's secret had been revealed, and the town, once full of admiration for him, now burned with anger and disgust. The Grand Hotel was no longer a place of celebration. It was a graveyard, hiding the dark deeds of a man who had stolen the lives of so many. The truth spread through the town like wildfire. From the market to the farms, from the elders to the children, everyone heard the horrifying news about Adam. The man they had praised, the man they had trusted, had used dark magic to steal from them. The police didn't waste time. They stormed into the crumbling hotel and placed Adam in handcuffs. His head hung low, and his once proud face was now pale and defeated. As he was led out, the workers, no longer bound by the deadly oath, began to speak. I saw him with the red handkerchief, one said, her voice shaking. He made us promise never to tell, or we would die, another added, tears streaming down his face. Their stories painted a picture darker than the storm clouds that now seemed to gather over the town. The townspeople couldn't forget what had happened. They talked about it often, sitting under the moonlight or around their cooking fires. We must never be fooled again, they said. When something seems too good to be true, it probably is. Slowly, the town began to heal. People laughed again, children played in the streets, and life returned to normal. But every December, when the town celebrated Christmas, they would look at the empty hotel and remember the lesson. Greed always comes with a price. The story of Adam and his red handkerchief was told for generations, a tale to warn against the dangers of greed and the dark secrets that can hide behind even the brightest smiles. And so, the town moved on, wiser and stronger, never forgetting the shadows that had once fallen over their joyful December days. I hope you enjoyed the tale. If so, please like the video, share it with your family and friends, comment on it, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell for more enchanting tales like this one. Goodbye.